He landed on his head, got up, did it again, landed on his head again. Most people would have quit after the first time. Jackie Chan asked for a third take. This is the true story of the most dangerous man in Hollywood history. And trust me, the movies were the least crazy part of his life. Let's start in 1973. Jackie Chan is 18 years old, getting beaten up by Bruce Lee every single day for $1. $1 a day. Fists, nunchucks, a stick that genuinely connects with his eye. And Jackie's sitting there thinking, this man is my hero. Wild. But then Bruce Lee dies suddenly, and overnight, every director in Hong Kong loses their mind. Find the next Bruce Lee, copy him, clone him, be him. They look at Jackie and say, "You're up." Jackie looks back and says, "Absolutely not." Not because he was cocky, because he'd already watched what happens when you try to replace a legend. You just become a bad copy. So, Jackie does something that changes action cinema forever. He decides to be funny, relatable, human, and then he tries to kill himself repeatedly on camera. But here's where it gets interesting. Jackie wasn't just performing stunts, he was engineering them. At 20 years old, designing fake pots, hidden wires, special shoes that could snap someone's head back without actually breaking their face. This guy was basically a mad scientist who happened to also be incredibly punchable looking. And then 1983 arrives, and Jackie Chan decides to fall off a clock tower. 60 feet. No net underneath, no rehearsal, no budget for either. He just looked down and jumped. The awnings were supposed to slow his fall like a gentle little slide. Instead, they flipped him like a pancake, and he slammed into the ground head first. Normal person? Done. Finished. Lawsuit. Retirement. Jackie Chan? Let's go again. Take 2, head first. Take 3, head first. Cervical spine injury. He called it a wrap and went home. And that's not even the most unhinged thing he did that decade. Not even close. Police story, 1985. Jackie needs to slide down a pole inside a shopping mall, 5 stories high. Simple enough, right? Except, and this is the part that should terrify you, the pole is wrapped in live electrical lights. Not battery-powered, not prop lights, wired directly into the building's electrical system. Jackie knew exactly what that meant. He described it himself. If something goes wrong, all my skin gets peeled. He said that, looked at the pole, and then slid down it anyway. 12 cameras rolling, 1 single take, second-degree burns across both palms. And the next day, he showed up to film the sequel. Somebody explain that to me, please. Now, here's where the story takes a turn nobody sees coming, because Hollywood, Jackie wants in. He's massive in Asia, unstoppable, a god. But America doesn't know him yet, and Jackie is obsessed with changing that. So he flies to Hollywood, lands a movie called Battle Creek Brawl, shows up ready to do everything his way. And the director looks at him and says, "No. Do it my way. Follow my vision. You're just the actor." Jackie, who literally designed his own stunts since he was 20, had to stand there and take it. He tried to suggest ideas, shot down every time. The movie bombed so hard it barely made a sound. He went back to Hong Kong, humiliated, furious, and decided to go so crazy with his next film that Hollywood would have to pay attention. Enter Armor of God, a movie that almost killed Jackie Chan for real. The scene is simple. Jump from a rock, grab a tree branch, land safely. But here's a detail the studios buried for years. Jackie had been drinking. There was a scene earlier where he needed to look like he was genuinely drinking beer. So they did take after take with real beer. And Jackie drank every single one. First jump, perfect. nailed it. But Jackie wanted one more take, because of course he did. The branch snapped. He grabbed another one. That one snapped too, and Jackie Chan fell off a cliff in Yugoslavia while the cameraman literally ran away to protect the camera. The camera, not Jackie, the camera. He hit the ground and his entire body went numb. Then he felt something wet near his ear. There was a hole in his skull. A piece of bone had been pushed into his brain. Blood was pouring out of his ear, and he's lying there thinking, this is it. He survived. Emergency surgery, months of recovery, and a permanent hole in his head that he still has to this day. But here's what nobody tells you about Jackie Chan, because while he was out there literally cracking his skull open for your entertainment, his personal life was disintegrating in ways that never made the highlight reels. At the absolute peak of his fame, Jackie Chan was a mess. A beautiful, reckless, completely out of control mess. He writes about it in his own memoir. His words, not speculation. Showing up to film sets 5 hours late, crashing his Porsche in the morning, totaling his Mercedes the same evening. Drunk, both times. He walked into a luxury watch store with 500,000 Hong Kong dollars in cash, asked the staff, "Show me your 10 most expensive watches," bought 7 of them, wore all 7 out the door simultaneously, one for every day of the week. The gambling was worse. He said it himself, "You earn $5 so difficult, you lose 10 so easy." The clubs, the drinking, the spending. A man jumping off buildings for a living, completely unable to control what happened when the cameras stopped rolling. And then 1999 hits, like a freight train. Jackie had been married for 17 years. His wife, his son, his family, the image he'd spent decades carefully building. And a story breaks that Jackie had a secret daughter with another woman, a little girl named Etta. He confirmed it publicly, accepted responsibility in front of the entire world. But Etta grew up without him. Years passed. Then, in 2018, Etta posts a video. She introduces her girlfriend and says they'd been homeless for a month because of homophobic parents. She didn't say his name directly. She didn't have to. Jackie's response to the entire situation, 5 words: as long as she's happy. Some people saw that as acceptance. Others saw it as avoidance. Honestly, you decide what that silence means. But here's the layer underneath all of this that makes it genuinely heartbreaking. Jackie Chan never really had parents either. His family was so poor when he was born, they nearly sold him. $250 to a British doctor. A baby. For sale. Instead, they sent him to opera school, then packed their bags and moved to Australia without him. So this child, who would one day become the biggest action star on the planet, woke up every morning at 5 a.m. alone, ran laps carrying cups of water, spill a drop, get whipped, hold positions for 20 minutes straight, or face consequences. He said he just followed the routine. No future, no plan, no parents, just the routine. And out of that, somehow, came the man who earned an honorary Oscar in 2016, standing on that stage, crying in front of everyone, telling the story of visiting Sylvester Stallone's house 23 years ago. He'd seen the Oscar on Stallone's shelf. He touched it, he smelled it, he said, "I'm pretty sure my fingerprints are still on it." And then he looked at the one in his own hands. After 56 years, 200 films, a broken spine, a fractured skull, shattered sternum, burned palms, dislocated cheekbones, a helicopter once hit him mid-stunt and knocked him unconscious. Did I forget to mention the helicopter? He looked at that Oscar and said, "Finally, this is mine." And the room lost it. Here's the thing about Jackie Chan that nobody fully says out loud. He didn't do all of this because he was fearless. He did it because somewhere deep down, that abandoned kid from opera school still needed to prove something to the directors who dismissed him, to the parents who left him, to the whole world that almost sold him for $250. And honestly, after everything, I'd say he proved it.